Are we live? It looks like we are live. Hello, everyone. Welcome back to the Pop Culture Asylum. I'm your host, Gabriel. I hope everyone is having a great day so far. I'm sure is having a great day. I hope everyone who is watching this video is having a great day as well. Now, the topic that we're going to discuss today is All Elite Wrestling. There's no major news going on All Elite Wrestling. Obviously, today's Wednesday, so tonight is AEW Dynamite. So expect a review on the next episode of AEW Dynamite later on tonight. But the the reason why I'm making a video on All Elite Wrestling is to just do an overview of All Elite Wrestling. Just an overview. Obviously, All Elite Wrestling started back in 2019 and basically has been around for like 2 years now. And today I'm going to go over the pros, the cons, and the things that I'm like, about. So I'm going to go over my praise because there are things AEW that are doing right. I'm going to go over some cons where I'm not particularly a fan of. And the neutral, I'm just gonna things that I'm not that crazy about and should improve on just a little bit more. But yeah, before I start, I like to say that in my opinion, AEW Dynamite is the best show in North America right now when it comes to pro wrestling, in my opinion. Like this is just my opinion. Okay, I think it's better than SmackDown, NXT, Impact Wrestling, and especially Monday Night Raw. But then again, any show is better than Monday Night Raw with the state that it is in right now. Like, did you see last Monday night? Well, obviously, I didn't see Monday Night Raw last Monday, but I looked in my Twitter feed and they're throwing tomatoes at each other. What? They're throwing to you. You know what? I'm getting sidetracked. The last thing I want to talk about is fucking Monday Night Raw. Okay, Monday Night Raw is an atrocious show. Okay, but as much as I love All Elite Wrestling, as much as I think AEW is the best pro wrestling show in North America right now, like AEW does have some problems with, and that's why we got the cons portion. But we're going to go over the pros, we're going to go over the neutrals, and we're going to go over the cons of All Elite Wrestling just in general. Okay, so without further ado, before I start this video, I got to do a little shout out. Now, I don't normally do shout outs, I just go straight into the video, but I'm going to do one shout out real quick. So my sister's boyfriend set up this new podcast that he has called On Accident Podcast. And a matter of fact, his first episode is out right now, and it's actually a really great episode. It's a really great episode. It's just him talking about his life, said a couple of things about social media, about video games, and he's just an overall entertaining guy. Okay, so if if you guys want to do me a favor and go to his channel and make sure you go subscribe and ring the notification bell on his channel, and don't forget to say that the Pop Culture Asylum sent you. Or if you want to leave that final part in the end, you can do that if you want to. But yeah, if you guys want, it would be incredibly awesome, especially for him because he has been working extremely hard on his podcast. And again, his first episode is amazing. It's a great episode. It's a really great episode. I think you're gonna like him and his content. Okay, and the link is in the description. Please, if you want, please go subscribe to my sister's boyfriend's channel. It's called Accident Podcast, and I think you're gonna like it. I really think you're gonna like it. Now, enough of my shout outs. Let's get this video underway. Now, I'm gonna start off with the positives. I'm gonna start off with the pros of All Elite Wrestling and the things that they are doing correctly. So let's talk about the pros. The first thing I want to address is that they have an amazing roster. Amazing, amazing roster. Kenny Omega, Jon Moxley, Eddie Kingston, Chris Jericho, Darby Allin, Lance Archer, Eddie Kingston, like Jungle Boy, Luchasaurus, Pac, the Lucha Bros, the Young Bucks. Okay, what else can I say there? Not to mention the fact that they have Christian Cage, Miro, Sting, like the list goes on and on and on. Okay, for a company that's been around for just 2 years, they have one of the most impressive and amazing rosters ever. Okay, that is a major pro right then and there. Nobody can't deny that AEW has an amazing roster, an amazing, amazing talent. Enough said there. The next pro, show being 2 hours. Okay. But then again, most shows are 2 hours. But the reason why I'm still gonna give AEW a pro for putting AEW on as a 2 hour show. Okay, because no wrestling show should be 3 hours long. Monday Night Raw. Okay, you can have an amazing show that is 2 hours. Okay, we no need for 3 hour shows. Okay, especially on TV. 2 hours, that's it. That's it. Enough said. The next pro I want to talk about are the characters. Okay, I guess you can say that with the characters you can go with like amazing roster, that, but again, amazing characters like Moxley, Jericho, Orange Cassidy, Death Triangle, Jurassic Express. For all the people that are saying that AEW is just a bunch of indie people, like technically they're not wrong. But for the people, I hear some people say on social media that AEW doesn't have any characters. That is completely far from the truth. Okay, Jurassic Express. Okay, Orange Cassidy. Like, Death Triangle. Okay, Abaddon. Like, there is, like, characters in All Elite Wrestling. And I just think that's a very weird argument for someone to say that AEW is a terrible show. Like, don't get me wrong. If you guys think, if AEW is not your cup of tea, then more power to you. Everyone's entitled to their own opinion. But just the fact that some people do not like AEW because it doesn't have any characters or good characters, I'm going to have to completely disagree. Okay, I think they have some very interesting characters. Like I said, Jurassic Express, The Best Friends, Orange Cassidy, Abaddon, Chris Sadlander as a freaking alien. Okay, have we ever had an alien wrestler like that before? No. Well, at least not that I know of. Like, it's unique. They have unique, good characters. Okay, and I'm going to give AEW props there for the pros. They have great, unique characters, in my opinion. The next pro I want to talk about is building up new stars. Okay, just the amount of stars AEW has made in the past few years is amazing. Hangman Adam Page, like the Lucha Bros, Best Friends, especially Orange Cassidy, like Britt Baker, you can argue has been turning more into a star lately. Like Jungle Boy, Luchasaurus, like all these wrestlers, MJF. Okay, Darby Allin is the biggest example of them all. Darby freaking Allin. Okay, AEW has done a great job building up most of their new talent. Like some of these, some of the talent, like these people don't even know of before. Like before AEW was a thing, people didn't know who Darby Allin was. People didn't know who Jurassic Express was. People didn't know who Orange Cassidy was, or Best Friends was, or Chris Statlander was, or like Riho, or Britt Baker, or all of them. Okay, but AEW turned them into stars. Now everyone knows who Darby Allin is. Now everyone knows who Jurassic Express is. And it's just amazing. Just the fact that in the span of 2 years, AEW managed to make a lot of new stars. It's impressive. It's impressive. Whether you like AEW or hate AEW, you have to admit that AEW has done a great job building up most of their stars. Okay, and that is a big pro right then and there for AEW. The next pro I want to talk about is freedom of creativity. Okay, what do you mean by that, Gabriel? What do you mean of freedom of creativity? Like the characters, like people like can choose their direction of where their character could take them. You know what I mean? The promos are less scripted. Like people like wrestlers have more control over their characters. Obviously with WWE, they don't like the wrestlers don't have that. Well, at least certain wrestlers, but at that point they're already legends. Okay, but Vince McMahon doesn't let their wrestlers have their creativity, like have their directions with their character. Like there be times where Vince McMahon allows some of these wrestlers to like have control of their own direction with their character. But most of the time, Vince McMahon is in charge of that and not the wrestlers. With AEW, it's the opposite. Like characters, like these wrestlers, like have their directions with their characters. Like the freedom of creativity, like the promos are less scripted. Like the promos feel way more organic than what we're getting from WWE. Okay, it feels more organic because it's less scripted. Okay, and that's WWE should take notes. Okay, because scripted promos, like it hurts the character. Okay, but with AEW, I'm gonna give them major props for freedom of creativity and the less scripted promos because it makes the promos like feel more organic and legit. Okay, which great promos like equals great characters. Like the characters actually improve from these less scripted promos. You know what I mean? So that is a big pro right there for AEW that I wanted to address. Now, the next one might be a little bit controversial, but hear me out. The next pro I want to talk about is AEW Dark. Okay, now some of you are wondering why is AEW Dark so good? Okay, it's a waste of time. Okay, you might say that, but and there's another show, AEW Dark Elevation. I think that show is a waste of time. AEW Dark isn't, and let me tell you why. Because AEW Dark, like AEW has this idea of like even if you're not signed to the AEW roster, like AEW still wants to showcase these indies talents who are not signed and want to have a platform to show what they can do. That's what AEW Dark is all about. Now, if AEW Dark had like important storylines going on and all that jazz, and you have to watch AEW Dark to know what's going on, then AEW Dark would be in the con section. But no, that's not the case. AEW Dark, it's just like main event or superstars. Okay, but even better because AEW Dark, like, you don't have to watch AEW Dark to understand what is going on Dynamite. Okay, I don't understand why people are hating on AEW Dark. I think it's a great idea. AEW Dark Elevation, I understand. That is a waste of time, but we will get to that in the con section. But I praise AEW Dark because again, it's you don't have to watch AEW Dark to understand what is going on in AEW, like in AEW Dynamite as a whole. Okay, AEW Dark is just a show to showcase some extra talent. Like AEW Dark gives like a platform for some of these wrestlers, some of these indie wrestlers who are not signed to All Elite Wrestling to showcase what they can do. I'm a fan of that. Okay, and again, if you don't care about indie wrestling, then you don't have to watch AEW Dark. That's the magic of it all. You don't have to watch AEW Dark to understand what is happening on AEW Dynamite. I just don't understand the hate AEW Dark is getting. Like I said, AEW Dark Elevation, I completely understand. But AEW Dark, I think that's a great thing. Okay, an incredible idea from Tony Khan. Okay, that's definitely a plus in my book. Now, the next thing I want to talk about is the free important shows on television, like the beach breaks and the anniversaries and the winter is coming, like all that jazz. Like with with the pay-per-views, we only got 4 pay-per-views of the year, right? But I like how they give like importance to like the main AEW Dynamite shows as well. Do you know what I mean? Like there be times where AEW does these AEW specials on AEW Dynamite. Like it feels like a pay-per-view all of in itself. Okay, it makes the show extremely special. And the best part about it, it's free. It's free on television. You don't have to pay like $60 for a pay-per-view. Okay, that's what's special. Like these beach breaks and the winter is coming and the anniversary shows and all that jazz. It's an amazing idea because it gets people watching AEW Dynamite more. And I think that is extremely smart. Having these AEW specials be free on television. Okay. There's gonna be months where like you're not gonna have like a major pay-per-view. Okay, because like I said, AEW Dynamite only has 4 pay-per-views of the year. So they have to fill some kind of like something big in the meantime. And that's where these AEW specials come in. And the fact that these and it's not like cheap or anything. Like they treat these free important shows as like legit pay-per-views for free on television. Like some of the most shocking moments, some of the most amazing moments and matches happen on these free AEW special. Cody Rhodes versus Brody Lee in a dog collar match. Like Kenny Omega versus Jon Moxley in Winter is Coming. Sting making his debut. Okay, they don't just go cheap with these AEW specials. They go all out. And it's so smart on AEW's end because it gives more eyes to the product. And even if you like or dislike AEW, everyone's going to watch because everyone is curious what AEW is going to do. It's smart. It's smart and I love every second of it. These AEW specials are just amazing. Okay, and just the fact that it's free on television makes it even better. It makes it even better. Okay? Like that is a major plus. The next the next positive I want to go over is the pay-per-view schedule. Obviously, I'm not going to take long on this one It's just 4 pay-per-views a year. Revolution, Double or Nothing, All Out, and Full Gear. And these pay-per-views treated like the end-all be-all pay-per-views. These pay-per-views always deliver. Okay, it's not like every month where like fucking it's not like every month has a pay-per-view like WWE does, because for some reason WWE loves to have every pay-per-view for every month. Okay, don't get me wrong. Pay-per-views are great and all, but at least give us a break till the next big pay-per-view. You know what I mean? Like the AEW pay-per-view schedule is perfect. All they need are the 4 big pay-per-views. And again, they're treated like big pay-per-views, which is amazing. Which is like Revolution, Double or Nothing, All Out, and Full Gear are treated like the WrestleMania, Royal Rumble, SummerSlam, and Survivor Series of AEW. Like they're that big, and AEW does a great job building up to these big pay-per-views. Okay, like just the fact that we get from one big pay-per-view and we get like a little break to like the next pay-per-view. Like I just like the schedule. That's just my opinion. I just really like the pay-per-view schedule. And the next the next part I want to talk about is the pay-per-views themselves. The pay-per-views themselves. I think I'll say that there's only one show that's been extremely underwhelming by All Elite Wrestling so far, and that was All Out 2020. I will still say it's a good show, but it was one of those weaker shows, you know what I mean? But other than that, every other show so far in its 2-year history, these pay-per-views have been incredible. The build-up to these pay-per-views are amazing. They treat these pay-per-views like they're the biggest thing, like they're the end all be all, and they always go all out. They always go all out. Okay, which is like amazing. Like for example, like Revolution, right? Like most of those matches had great build up. Well, yeah, most of them, at least like 1 or 2 matches. But um with their biggest selling point was an exploding barbed wire death match. Okay, if that's not over the top, I don't know what is. Okay, but so many people bought the Revolution pay-per-view just to see that specific match. Okay, AEW always goes all out with their big pay-per-views, and that is not something to be taken lightly. With like WWE, like have been doing like a mediocre job with their big 4 pay-per-views. Not saying that the Royal Rumble, SummerSlam, Survivor Series, or WrestleMania are bad or anything, but for the last couple years, they always been mediocre. While lately, with AEW's pay-per-views, for the last 2 years alone, 90% of their pay-per-views have been nothing short but amazing, except for maybe one. Okay, but even then, I thought that was a good show. Okay, like I love these. The pay-per-views themselves always have like a big fight feel to it, and each big pay-per-view always feels like the end all be all. It's like AEW has 4 WrestleManias. Like, you know what I mean? I just love how they do these pay-per-views and how they build up these pay-per-views and how they go all out with these pay-per-views. And that's something that really needs to be commended. Okay. So there's that. The next thing, the next positive I want to talk about is the commentary. Okay. The commentary, like, guys, Jim Ross, Tony Schiavone, Taz sometimes, and Excalibur, who is actually really good. I won't say Excalibur is like the greatest like announcer of all time, but he's really good. He's really, really good. But just the fact that you have Jim Ross and Tony Schiavone, oh sorry, in the announce team, what else can I say? Nuff said. Commentary is amazing. The managers. A managers is another pro I want to address. Like Jake the Snake Roberts. Like Tully Blanchard. Like who else? Like Brandy Rose is one technically. Like all these managers, like actually, like these managers just been booked extremely, extremely well. And they have been such great mentors for these new wrestlers. Like Sting is a great mentor for Darby Allin. Jake the Snake Roberts has been a great mentor for Lance Archer. Like Tully Blanchard has been a great mentor for FTR and just the Pinnacle in general. Okay. Like this is how you properly use managers. Okay. And these managers like really builds up these like new wrestlers. Like Lance Archer, for example. Nobody knows who Lance Archer is. Okay, but everyone knows who Jake the Snake Roberts is. And Jake the Snake Roberts does a really great job. Really great job. Like trying to build up Lance Archer. Tully Blanchard does a great job building up FTR. Sting does a great job building up Darby Allin. Okay, the managers are not there just to be there. Like they're doing their jobs extremely well building up these new stars, which is something to be really, really commended. Awesome stuff. And the last one I want to talk about is the long-term storytelling. Now, some people might disagree with me, which is completely understandable. But for the most part, I think they do a great job with long-term storytelling. There be a thing here and there that's like a little botchy, but for the most part, I think AEW does a great job with their long-term storytelling. Okay, and that's basically that's all that's all I gotta say. Like that's basically all I gotta say there. Like I don't understand why some people think AEW like I don't know why so many people hate long-term storytelling with AEW. Like Cody, like the amount of great rivalries that we have because of AEW's long-term storytelling. Cody Rhodes versus MJF, Cody Rhodes versus Chris Jericho, Kenny Omega versus Jon Moxley. And it's rumored that we might get Kenny Omega versus Hangman Adam Page, all involving long-term storytelling and done extremely, extremely well. Okay. Again, you might disagree with me, but I think AEW does a great job with the long-term storytelling. Okay. I like there it would be like a miss here and there, but for the most part, like I say the only negative so far about AEW's long-term storytelling is Best Friends versus Miro and Kip Sabian. That overstayed his welcome. And honestly, I can't justify it. That was just a terrible rivalry, and I'm just glad it's over with. But other than that one negative, for the most part, I think AEW mostly does a great job with their long-term storytelling. Now was all that was all the pros. Now, hold on, let me get a drink. Ah. Okay. So let's talk about the neutral stuff. Now, the neutral stuff is the stuff that I'm kind of on and they should like improve on. But let's talk about the neutral stuff. the first neutral thing that I want to address, companies, the companies working together. Now, like the reason why I didn't put this as a pro, because a I feel like AEW, like, for the most part, focus a little too much sometimes on the other companies. Like for example, with Kenta, like, well, an even better example, like the Impact wrestlers and the, like, I don't know, like something, like, don't get me wrong, I used to be excited about companies working together, and if done correctly, like, I think could be really, really well. Like, it could be amazing, it could be awesome. Okay, but like, I don't know, like something about multiple companies working together, it's just it rubbed me a wrong way a little bit. Like, I used to be excited for it, but I feel like AEW does a little too much of that sometimes. Like like for example, like, I don't know, it's a little bit complicated. Okay, it's like I like AEW working with other companies, but at the same time I don't. Like, what AEW should be focusing on is focusing on their own brand first. They should be focusing on their own brand. Okay. And I don't know. Like, companies working together is a touchy subject, and I know I'm doing a shitty job explaining why it is in the neutral category. And if you guys think that that AEW working with other companies should be in the pros or should be in the cons, like, I want to know what you guys think in the comments section. I want to hear what you guys think. Like, do you think the AEW working with other companies is ultimately a good thing or a bad thing? I want to know what you guys think. But me, I feel like it's very neutral. I'm not very crazy about it. Okay, and like, just the fact that we like I don't know, it's a bit complicated. Like, I'm just gonna leave it at that. Like, I'm already doing a terrible job of why companies working together, it's in the neutral category, so that's my bad, but it's neutral in my opinion. It's neutral. The next thing that I'm kind of iffy about is the Bullet Club. Now, I love the Bullet Club. Like, I think the Bullet Club is one of the best factions of all time. Okay? Like, some of you might say, really? Really? You think the Bullet Club is one of the best factions of all time? Yes, I do. I think they're awesome. Okay? Shush. But I feel like ever since Omega, the Young Bucks, and Gallows and Anderson, like, all reunited, I don't know. It feels kind of iffy. It feels like something feels weird about it. Like, which is weird because Kenny Omega is holding the AEW World Championship and the Young Bucks are holding the AEW Tag Team Championships. Like, they're technically on top of the world right now. But I feel like something's missing. Like like do is it just me? But is it me or is the Bullet Club, like, as it is right now, is underwhelming? Like, do you guys agree with me? Like, I feel like the Bullet Club right now is kind of underwhelming. Like, right now. Like, don't get me wrong. I love what AEW. Sorry. I love what AEW is doing with the Bullet Club right now, but I don't know. Like, something, like, is amiss with the Bullet Club. Like, I don't know. Like, I don't know. Like, don't get me wrong. I love the Bullet Club. I love what Kenny is doing. The Young Bucks are doing. And Gallows and Anderson are doing. But I don't know. Like, is it just me, or do you think that something is empty about the Bullet Club? Like, it, like, them together so far is like kind of underwhelming in a way. Like, I don't know, it's a weird feeling. It's a weird feeling. But I'm gonna stop it right there. I still like the Bullet Club, but they don't feel as special like they were back in New Japan Pro Wrestling. With New Japan Pro Wrestling, they felt like they were just taking over New Japan Pro Wrestling. Like they're taking over the wrestling world. Like they had that major impact in New Japan Pro Wrestling. I feel like with this Bullet Club, I don't feel that impact. Like I feel like the Bullet Club, like as it is right now, is like you know what I mean? They don't have that impact. Like I don't know. It's weird. I feel like something feels empty about this Bullet Club. Like I still like them, but something feels very empty. Like feels very underwhelming. It could be just me. Like, do you guys agree? Do you guys agree that the Bullet Club right now is kind of underwhelming in a way? And if you do, you if you do, like I want to know why. Like you'll probably give like a better reason than I'm doing right now because my reasoning is just terrible. But yeah, I still like the Bullet Club, but I don't know, something feels missing. Like they don't have that like impact as they did back in New Japan Pro Wrestling. But I digress. The next neutral thing I want to talk about is the women's division. Now, I'm definitely not going to stutter on this one. Okay, the women's division. Before, if I were to make this AEW overview like a long time ago, like an AEW like early 2019, like early 2020, then the women's division would be in the cons. Okay, because the women's division, the AEW women's division back then was just terrible, horrible, horrendous. But the women's division now is in neutral because I've been seeing a lot of improvement with the AEW women's division, with Hikaru Shida, Thunder Rosa, Britt Baker, Ty Conti, Anna Jay. Like, I have been impressed with the AEW women's division lately. Hell, they main evented a show and it's a match of the year candidate. Okay. And I feel like the women's division are going in the right direction. Okay. Is it like is it important is it like important? Is it like perfect? Is the AEW women's division perfect? No, they still have a lot of work to do, but they have gone a long way. They have gone a long, long way. And like so far, AEW have been doing a good job with the women's division. Like they still have some work to do, but the women's division so far has been improving and it has been showing more and more and more. And that's why ultimately the women's division are in the neutral section for me. And the last thing I want to talk about are the run ins. Okay? There are so many run ins in AEW. There is just so many run ins. Okay? And I get it. The run ins are supposed to like advance the story and all that. And I get that. That's why the run ins are not in the cons, they're in the neutrals. It's in the neutral for me. But the reason why the run-ins are not even with the pros is because AEW does way too many run-ins. And I get it. Okay, you want to advance a story. You want to advance the story. And one way to do it are run-ins. Okay, but I feel like AEW does way too many run-ins. Okay, they need to lay low on the run-ins, okay? Because they have been doing a a lot, and I mean a lot of run-ins, okay? And that's basically the neutral section for me. Now, hold on, let me get a drink. Ooh, sorry. All this talk is making me a little bit dehydrated. So, so as much as I love All Elite Wrestling, and I still stand as AEW is the best wrestling show in North America, in my opinion. But even then, the like even with AEW being the best show, the best wrestling show in North America, in my opinion, AEW still has its problems. Okay? And it's time that we address them. So, without further ado, I know this is the part of the video a lot of AEW haters are waiting for. So, let's get the cons out of the way. So, the first con I want to talk about it's the 8-man and above tag team matches. Okay? I feel like now lately AEW hasn't been doing that. Okay, which is a good thing. But before, AEW used to do 8-man tag team matches, 12-man tag team matches, 15-man tag team matches. And it's just so unnecessary. Why do you have so many men in a tag team match? It's just a convoluted mess. Okay, there's no need for tag team matches to be so damn big. Okay, and again, AEW hasn't been doing these kinds of matches, which is good, which is really, really good. Okay, and I hope they don't do these 8-man, 12-man, or 15-man tag team matches ever again. Okay, but oh my god, they used to do so much of it like earlier in the day. Okay, that needs to end. Okay, that was a big con for me. I hated those tag team matches. It was just a convoluted mess. A convoluted mess. Okay. The ranking system. The ranking system is a waste of time. Okay. Like I get it. Like AEW had good intentions at heart with the ranking system, but I'm sorry, it just falls flat. Like some of the statistics of the ranking system doesn't even make any sense. Like on one day, one week, I see the person that is number one having like 6-2, and like the person that's number two is like 8-0. Even though the person that has like an 8-0 record should be number one. Like, you know what I mean? Like, and the ranking system, it's rarely mentioned. Okay, I'm sorry. The ranking system is a waste of time. Okay, they need to get rid of the ranking system. Again, AEW had good intentions at heart with the ranking system, trying to make it serious, but you can make a wrestling promotion serious without a ranking system. Okay, the ranking system is just a waste of time. Okay, now there's that. Next up, the next con that I want to talk about, Cody Rhodes. Now, hear me out. Hear me out. Now, all you AEW haters like must be saying, yes, he hates Cody Rhodes. This is amazing. Or some of you AEW lovers saying, oh my God, you're a Cody Rhodes hater. Hear me out. Okay? I'm not saying Cody Rhodes is bad. Okay? AEW Cody Rhodes beforehand was an important figure. Cody Rhodes is amazing. Okay? I like Cody. Okay? But I'm talking about Cody Rhodes lately. Okay, Cody Rhodes lately. Because I feel like Cody Rhodes has been putting himself in unnecessary storylines. Like, Cody, you're going to be a father. Okay, you're going to have a baby and be a father. Shouldn't you take a break a little bit? Like, stay off of TV for a little bit and take a break? Okay, like Cody has been putting himself in unnecessary situations, like in unnecessary rivalries. The most recent example being the Factory. Like the apparently Cody Rhodes is now in a rivalry with QT Marshall in the Factory. Like I'm personally not a fan of it, and I think that rivalry is a big waste of time. Okay, because obviously I think we all know who's going to win, Cody Rhodes. But like I think Cody Rhodes should relax. Like Cody Rhodes lately, like I haven't been liking it because he keeps putting himself in unnecessary storylines. He keeps putting himself in unnecessary storylines and pointless matches. Okay, don't get me wrong. I love Cody Rhodes. Cody Rhodes has been doing a great job in AEW, but Cody Rhodes lately, he's just a tumbleweed in the wind. Okay, he's just been doing pointless matches and keep putting himself in pointless rivalries. Okay, Cody, I love you, but you need to take a break. Okay, stay off of television for a little bit. Okay, well, technically, he has been off of television for a little bit. We haven't seen Cody Rhodes in like 2, 3 weeks now, but he should stay away longer, in my opinion. He should stay away longer. Okay, like I'm just not a fan of Cody Rhodes lately. Now, I'm a fan of Cody Rhodes. I'm just not a fan of him lately. Okay, so there is that. The referees. Woo! I'm gonna have a field day with this one. The AEW referees are terrible. Absolutely terrible. Okay, these referees pisses me off. The biggest thing is like for like a championship matchup or just a normal match in general, instead of doing their jobs and doing like a 10 count, like 1, 2, 3, they either do the freaking slowest count of all time, okay, or they just don't count at all. They just go outside and tell the superstars to get back to the ring. Okay? And sometimes they just like during like a championship match. Now, this is not every AEW championship matchup, but there be times during a championship match or just like a special match where like a superstar uses a weapon, but instead of referee calling it as a DQ just because it's a championship match or a special matchup, like they just let the match continue? Do these referees know what they're doing? Okay, something needs to change with these referees. Either number one, you need to train them better, or number two, you need to book these referees better. Because as much as I love AEW, the referees are the few things in AEW that I despise. These referees are idiots. Okay? They either number one need to be trained better, or number two, they need to be booked better because the referees, I despise the referees. I despise them. Ridiculous. Okay. The next one I want to talk about, the next con, is that the fact that they put some segments that should be on the show in being the elite. Okay? Now, don't get me wrong. I love being the elite. Okay? Being the elite is just this behind the scenes, like, what do these wrestlers do when they're not on shows and are not wrestling? It's that kind of show, which I love. Okay? I love, like, seeing these wrestlers outside of AEW and outside of wrestling. Okay, but it should be like that. But with what AEW does is that sometimes they put segments that are important to the stories on AEW Dynamite on Being the Elite. And they expect people to watch Being the Elite. No, that's not how that works. Why would you put important segments that could be beneficial to the storyline on Being the Elite? That doesn't make any sense. Okay, Hangman Adam Page and the Dark Order is a big example. They did most of their freaking build up on Being the Elite. Okay, they did some build up in AEW Dynamite, but they did most of the build up of Hangman Page joining the Dark Order in Being the Elite. Why didn't we see that in AEW Dynamite? I think people would have loved it. Okay, but AEW expects like people to watch Being the Elite. Why? Why not put these segments on AEW Dynamite? Like Hangman Page, like trying to like teasy join the Dark Order. Hangman Page and him hating the Elite. Frankie Kazarian and his anger management. Bro, Frankie Kazarian and his anger management issues in Being the Elite were gold. But I just wish AEW put it on AEW Dynamite. Okay, I think that would have been so over. Okay, having Frankie Kazarian and his anger management stuff saying like, "Well, do you?" and calling everyone assholes. Okay, I think that would have went over so well with the fans in AEW Dynamite. But no, you guys decided to put it in Being the Elite. And you just made some missed opportunities. Missed opportunities. Because instead of putting some of these segments in AEW Dynamite, you decided to put it in Being the Elite. And you expect people to watch Being the Elite. Now, don't get me wrong, I love Being the Elite. Okay, but I love it as like a behind the scenes, like knowing the people behind the wrestlers kind of show. Okay, stop putting stuff that could be good for Dynamite on Being the Elite. Put the stuff that you do on Being the Elite, some of these segments that are beneficial to the storylines, show them on AEW Dynamite. Okay, don't put them in Being the Elite. I feel like with AEW doing this, we have seen some very missed opportunities, especially the Frankie Kazarian anger management thing, because I think that would have went so well with the fans. But AEW decided to put all of that in Being the Elite. Why? Why? Why not put it in AEW Dynamite? Okay, you can still have Being the Elite. Okay, but have it as like a behind the scenes, knowing the person behind the wrestler, how the show works kind of show. Don't put like stuff that you can use on AEW Dynamite on Being the Elite because you're just going to have missed opportunities. Okay? They really need to stop with that. The next con that I want to talk about. Too many factions. There are way too many factions in AEW. Way too many factions. Okay, the only factions that I will accept is the Inner Circle, the Pinnacle, the Bullet Club, and that's it. Every other like every other group is pointless. The Factory is extremely pointless. The Nightmare Family is just way too big and definitely pointless. And Team Taz, as much as I love Team Taz, has really held down the careers of Ricky Starks and Brian Cage. Okay. I feel like Ricky Starks and Brian Cage are better off away from Team Taz. Okay. The Hardy Party office. it's the waste of time. Okay. Okay. The only factions that I will accept is the Inner Circle, the Pinnacle, the Bullet Club, and the Dark Order. That's it. Every other faction is pointless. Okay. And no, I'm not counting Jurassic Express or Death Triangle as factions. Okay. But if you guys do, then I accept both Jurassic Express and Death Triangle as factions as well. And best friends, because technically they're a 3-person group as well. I'll accept those 3 as well. But every other faction is pointless. Okay, like I said, the Factory, pointless. Nightmare Family, pointless. Team Task, pointless. The Hardy Party Office is the most pointless faction of them all. Okay, because instead of putting the Butcher, the Blade, and the Bunny as their own thing, they decided to fucking put them up with Matt Hardy and Private Party? Why? What's the reasoning? Doesn't make any sense. There are just way too many factions. Okay, they need to be disbanded. Again, the only factions that I will accept is the Inner Circle, okay, the Pinnacle, the Bullet Club, and the Dark Order. Okay, and if you guys want to be technical as well, I will also accept Death Triangle, Jurassic Express, and Best Friends. Okay, but every other faction, it's a waste of time. Okay, there are way too many factions, and they need to start disbanding some of these pointless factions. Okay, but there's that. The next one, the next con I want to talk about, the second to last one, AEW Dark Elevation. AEW Dark Elevation. What's the point of AEW Dark Elevation? It's just another AEW Dark. Honest to God. It's just another AEW Dark. Okay, I love the idea of AEW Dark, and they should keep AEW Dark. But AEW Dark Elevation is a waste of time. Okay, it's just another AEW Dark. And if people want to watch AEW Dark, they can watch AEW Dark. People don't need like another AEW Dark show. Okay, AEW Dark Elevation is a waste of time. Enough said. Okay, and the last con that I want to talk about is not putting much focus on your exclusive roster. Now, I already said that AEW has an amazing roster, an incredible roster. Okay, but I feel like they're not focusing enough on their roster. Like there be times where like a nobody, a indie guy who people don't even know of gets a title shot just like that. Really? Like wouldn't it make sense for someone who is actually signed? Wouldn't it make sense for someone who is actually an AEW star to like fight for the title instead of a person who hasn't been signed to AEW? Like, you know what I mean? Like, I feel like they don't put that much focus to their exclusive roster, and that needs to change. Okay? Again, if you guys want to show like these indie guys, then you got AEW Dark. Okay? And yes, if you want to show some of these indies guys on AEW Dynamite, then you can do it like in an open challenge. Or maybe do like a little jobber match. Like, for example, you can do Kenny Omega versus JD Drake. Even though we all know Kenny Omega's going to win, you can you can let JD Drake showcase his moves a little bit. You know what I mean? But AEW needs to focus on their roster. They need to give more opportunities to the people that are actually signed to All Elite Wrestling. Okay, put more focus onto your roster. Okay, you can bring in an indie guy who is not signed on AEW Dynamite at least once in a while. Okay, but put more focus into the people that you're signed. You know what I mean? Focus on your roster. Focus on the people that are actually signed to All Elite Wrestling. Okay? But yeah, that's my final comment. Okay, and that's basically it is. That's my overview of All Elite Wrestling. I went over the pros, I went over the cons, I went over the neutrals, but I still think that All Elite Wrestling is the best show the best show pro wrestling wise in North America right now, and possibly the world right now. And I stand by that. Even though I understand AEW has its problems. I'm not one of those AEW fanboys where like, oh, AEW is perfect. AEW is so damn perfect. No. Okay? Even as much as I love All Elite Wrestling, okay, even I have to admit AEW has problems that needs to be addressed. And I basically addressed most of the cons in this video. Okay, but that's basically my overview. I want to know what you guys think in the comments section. Do you agree with my pros? Do you agree with my cons? And do you agree with my neutrals? Okay, and is there anything that you disagree with? And is there anything that I miss? I want to know what you guys think in the comment section. Speak off in the comment section. Was there something you like? Was there something you dislike? Was there something you agree with or disagree with? And if there's is there something that I missed from this list? I want to know what you guys think. Speak off in the comment section. But if you guys like this video, make sure you leave a like. Make sure you leave a comment. My only rule in this channel is to basically not be an asshole in the comment section. If you disagree with me, that's perfectly fine. Okay, if you guys have a different take, please be my guest. Like, if you have a different take, say it. Okay, I don't want you to be afraid. I'm open to all takes. I may not particularly agree with your take or opinion, but I'm open to hear all opinions. I'm open to hear all takes that you have. Okay, but basically my only rule is to not be assholes. Okay, but if you disagree with me, I want to hear your take. I want to hear your opinion. I'm all ears. Okay, but again, if you guys like my video, make sure you leave a like, make sure you leave a comment, and if you guys like the content that I make sure you subscribe and leave the notification bell so that way you don't miss any of my videos. And today's Wednesday, obviously, so don't forget later on tonight we got my AEW Dynamite review. And before I go, like I said, like I'm gonna do the shout out one more time for the people that just joined us. Like my sister's boyfriend has a podcast on YouTube, and his first episode is up right now. And the link is in the description for his channel. And I recommend you go see him. Okay? Like, it would be amazing for me, and it would be amazing for my sister's boyfriend if you go subscribe to him. Like, his first episode is actually really, really good. He has a great personality, and I think you're gonna like him and his episodes and his content. Oh, his content is better than me. He has a fancy microphone, like a table. He has a nice setup. Okay, so his channel is the link in the description. And make sure you go subscribe to him. Like, I'm sure he will much appreciate. And trust me, you're really gonna like his content. Okay? But yeah, that's my shout out. And until next time, I will see you later on tonight for my AEW Dynamite review. And until later on tonight, this is Gabriel, and I will see you later on tonight in the asylum.